Bro, all the work that they've done to get UFC 300 to where it is today, you do not hope that anything bad happens to that fight card. Look, speaking of UFC 300, you just said move Gaethje, move Max, do something different. When you, and this is a bit of a slippery slope here for you, Ben. So when you promise something, I'm going to give you the greatest thing of all time. How much of it is on you to deliver? Because even if you deliver something that's spectacular, maybe it doesn't match the expectation. When you have heard now for the last 3 weeks that the UFC 300 main event is going to be so amazing, you will not believe this. You can't imagine how big this is going to be. And then you get Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill, which is a phenomenal fight. What is the initial reaction from you? Because so many people are like glued to the TV for the post-fight presser, wondering. He said after the fight, he's announcing this fight. Yeah. What is the reaction for you when you hear that that's the fight?
Yeah. You know what? This is what I tell my athletes. Hopefully you tell your athletes, Dana, you tried your best. You worked hard to get something. You let us down a little bit, but it happens sometimes. We can't all be the best every time. Now, these are good fights. This is a fun fight. This is a great fight card, but it doesn't feel UFC 300-ish. And
really?
It doesn't. It doesn't. We needed something a little bigger, like Pereira versus Aspinall or John Jones coming back, McGregor versus Chandler. And he tried. He tried to make it happen. This is a very good fight card. It's a very fun fight card. I will be excited to watch these, but it doesn't have the feel that, I don't know. Do you remember UFC 100? I don't know if you were a fight fan back then, but that was like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
What about, but then even when I'm getting my Google up right now, UFC 200 was, let me see UFC 200 fight card right here. It was UFC 200 fight card ended up being on the early prelims had Joe Lozon sent Gegard Mousasi
on it. I forgot that.
Gegard Mousasi was the second fight of the night on the prelims.
Yes.
Then on the prelims you had
Juliana Pena, that's an awesome Hendricks,
one. TJ Dillashaw, a Sunsao. You had
you got a couple of 3 UFC champs there on the undercard.
Yeah, and then you had Brock, you had Amanda, you had myself and Anderson, you had Jose Aldo Edgar, you had Cain Velasquez, Travis Brown.
Oh my God, so good.
Yes. You had like a card that felt. But I kept telling everyone as we were building closer to this thing, I said, we have to manage our expectation because you're only going to be able to do what you can do with what you have, right? You can't make something up. This is not a world where you can just will someone back into fighting. So
yes.
Brock Lesnar's older, right? Yeah. So was very far-fetched. There was no Brock Lesnar to come back. Ronda's not fighting.
Nope.
If Ronda would have came back, great. Conor, he's still here. That would have been great. Khabib,
not fighting.
If you could have got Khabib to come back, that would have been great. But none of those guys were fighting.
Yes.
You have to do the best with what you have, and I think they did the best with what they have. Look, Brock might have fought somebody, but the boy Brock's in a whole bunch of shit right now himself.
What did he do?
WWE? What?
Well, you know I don't pay attention. What did he do?
Bro, did you see what Vince McMahon did to the girl? Allegedly.
Unfortunately.
You got to say allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
So I guess Brock Lesnar was like a part of this whole thing. Bro, they're like scrubbing him from all WWE stuff. Bro, all of his clothes and shit is on like discount. They took him off the video game. They're like, I swear to God, they're almost like trying to scrub Brock from the history of the WWE because he was so intertwined with this whole thing with Vince McMahon and this girl. And it's crazy, right?
Yes, totally crazy.
So it's like he's not coming back for a multitude of reasons. So they did the best with what they had. So when you put Gaethje Max, great. You put Jamal versus Alex, great. But you knew it would be very difficult to find that third title fight when you looked at the first quarter of the year in the fights that were announced.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with you totally. I'm just telling you, you asked me how I felt. I told you how I felt. It doesn't feel the same way as UFC 100. Doesn't feel the same way as UFC 200. It's a very good fight card. I'm going to watch
Was
it
UFC 100 really that good, though?
It was awesome.
But was it, or were you just a guy that didn't know fighting?
No. I watched since the early days. Bisping versus Henderson was like, that was so
I forgot about that.
That was freaking awesome. Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir, that was freaking awesome. George St. Pierre fought for a title on that one.
Thiago Alves, I think.
Yes. And that was when he was on fire. Yes, that was a really good card. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a great fight card. I think a lot of that fight card for me was they had the biggest stars and the biggest name, and the sport was exploding so much at the time that it really didn't feel like whatever they did was going to work. It just felt like whatever they did was going to work for me during that time because those guys were such big stars. Yeah. But when I think about Jamahal Hill and Alex Pereira or Pereira, I think you have
Pereira's getting there. He's getting there. People are really starting to like him a lot.
Bro, I was good. That's exactly where I was going.
Okay.
They love him, dog. The reception this guy gets everywhere we go is nuts because he went to Canada, dude. There had to be 10,000 people in that mall to see him sign some autographs. Everywhere he goes, people are just drawn to him. And I believe that part of that intrigue is the fact that we still don't know him. Generally, we get to know guys before they become champions, right?
Yes.
It felt like you knew Max Holloway because he was around so long before he got to the belt. Leon Edwards and all those other guys, you feel like you know him. Alex Pereira has still only been here for 2.5 years, bro.
Seriously.
It's been 2.5 years, and the dude's already had 2 UFC championships.
Yeah. So crazy. Listen, I'm excited for that fight. I think it would have been more fun to let him go for his third title. But I'm in. Jamahal Hill is was the champion, gave up his belt. So this is kind of like, to me, a little bit like a unification title fight. I think it's going to be
Jamahal
good.
Hill, it still seems a little fast for an Achilles, right? He did it in July.
After watching what Aaron Rodgers did.
Oh, bro. What the hell, dog?
Seriously.
What was that?
So crazy.
What was that? Well, I don't know, man. I love the fight. I love the fight for Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill said that he's going to stand with him. He said he's not taking him down, man. Well, he said he ain't taking him down. He said he's going to stand with Alex Pereira and he's going to knock him out.
Maybe not the best idea, but he's welcome to try however he wants.
What do you mean it's not the best idea?
What do you mean? You saw he put people to sleep. Stand around with Alex Pereira, you're going to fall on the ground.
He's good, man.
He's so good.
He's so scary, too.
And he hits so hard. A little bit like Tapuria, where, sometimes, like in the Izzy fight, he was getting beat, but when he connected, boom, it's over.
He's so big, too. That's the problem. He's so big for the weight class. He's big for 205 when he was so what was he at 185? He should have never been making that weight class.
Never should have. That was so impressive.
That was actually ridiculous. That was as impressive as his fighting when he was going down to 185 pounds. I believe that UFC 300 is an amazing fight card that is going to be fantastic. And the buzz is going to be crazy around Vegas that weekend. And luckily, I get to sit next to the octagon and call it. It's going to be, I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. I got a brand new suit, Ben. I got a brand new custom suit for that fight. I mean, Bruce Buffer sometimes has suits that has his whole life story inside the sleeves. It is sick. I'm making me one of those for UFC 300 because it's going to be that freaking good.